Hi everyone, Michelle Fixit. I'm at the tail end of my day, and so I decided to do a video because I haven't done like one of the individualized videos in a bit. Everyone else is sleeping except for me, and I just had this moment. I just had this moment where I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? What's the fast way to get thicker skin and realize that there are a lot of very interesting individuals on the same planet as you? Start a YouTube channel and start publishing a lot. So you guys don't get to see everything that I see, and maybe I should make some videos on that. But currently, the Xena and Izzy video has, I think it's like 8 million views. So it's definitely by far, it's a short and it's a remix. So it's by far the most popular video I've had. And I think it's because some people are just weird with their mindset. And it's like, vicious dog attacks little girl or something like that, or on top of little girl or something. I did it to be sarcastic. I titled it in a way because I know that everyone's always like, they want stuff that's in their face because we're breeding hyperactivity and sensationalism and all of this cuckoo-ness, that it's just kind of ridiculous. And so it was kind of me making a mockery of that. And I knew that it would get more views because of the title, because I would assume, or I was assuming, that people would think that like they were literally going to be watching a dog attack a child, which shows the type of mentality that people have, because people want to watch the train wrecks. They want to watch the things that are going on that are interesting. And what has happened is I did get people that genuinely thought that Xena was attacking Isabel, which was absurd, because if you pay attention to things, which we all should be paying attention to things, because we're around people all the time, and you can't go around making false accusations on people, or you can, but you have to take it at its value, which is why like witness statements and all these other different things, whenever it becomes like a criminal thing or a heavily publicized thing, opinions are stupid because there's no attacking going on. But I had tons and tons of comments about how Xena was a terrible dog for attacking Isabel, and Gerbicatus. And I'm like, delete. Because I did try to like explain it in the beginning, and then it just became like such a nuisance that I was like, you know what, you're absurd, I'm deleting you. And then I had some people that care more about the animals than they care about children, so they thought that Xena was attacking Isabel and that Isabel deserved it. And I didn't even, I couldn't even defend or explain or try to alter their opinions, and I was just like, delete. So then it starts making its rounds in a very interesting way, which is disgusting. And so part of it was that there's a language barrier in some of these comments, and some of it is not that there's a language barrier, there's a perversion in the person's mind. And so some of the people think that bestiality might be going on in that video, and they assume that Xena is a boy dog. And that is completely disturbing and disgusting. And for whatever reason, as it made its rounds, and it's still making its rounds through the internet, once those nasty comments started coming, and I just deleted. And then I learned through that video that I could hold comments for review, which was a game changer, because for a little while I was obsessively having to be on my phone, and I don't like that, because you guys, no offense intended, are an afterthought to my actual life of working on vehicles, taking care of my children, homeschooling, trying to make sure that Charlie gets to appointments. I have a lot of stuff that I have to do, and so I spread myself relatively thin, but I try to give whatever I'm doing my full attention, or a good chunk of it, with the mentality that, like, I do have to perpetually multitask like most people do, and so human error is going to happen. Boo-boos will be made. And so if I'm working on a project and my children are awake, I am constantly listening and watching them while working on the project. And so my time when both of them are asleep is vital for creativity or for functionality and trying to get things done. And the time periods where Charlie is singularly asleep are just as important, because then I'm giving Isabel individualized attention and or working on a project with her, which is also individualized attention, because poor Charlie, he doesn't get individualized attention because his sister's always awake and doing stuff, but he's also a baby and he requires a substantial amount of time because of the kind of baby that he is. So, with all that being stated, and I know I kind of train wrecked, it's ridiculous to have to be on your phone all the time, because you don't, it's wave theory management, where you have a few things happen and then it's a wave of things that happen. So when those nasty comments started coming, man oh man, did they start coming? They were everywhere. And I was like, ugh, how can you guys be so disgusting? And so it's like, I was annoyed and angry. Not really angry, because these are people that are randomly on the planet like I am. But I was frustrated that some people wanted to see a dog attacking a child. Some people were not paying attention, delusional, whatever, to think that that was actually occurring, and calling for my dog to not be here anymore. And then some people were thinking that Isabel should not be here anymore, and that it was all her fault if these events were taking place. So it just shows you how messed up people's minds are and their opinions, because there's an anonymity that people get when they go on the internet and they become keyboard warriors and they start talking and talking and talking about all these things. And it's like, look, could I have made better choices? Sure. Everyone can always make better choices. I mean, we all aspire, I hope, to make the best choices possible with the information that is given at the time, but the absurdity of the anonymity, and so it is kind of making me get thicker skin and not care so much about people's opinions, which is nice, and maybe I should have done this a long time ago. But then it's also letting me know that there's a lot of really sick people in this world. And I know everyone's like, Michelle Fixit, why did you not realize that before? Well, because I try to live in an idealized existence, and I was sheltered from a few things for a while, and then they started cropping up in my life, and my life is blown up, and I've had traumatic events happen, and maybe that's because I wasn't adequately prepared for these things. I don't know. I'm dealing with it the best that I can, just like everybody else. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on, one, I'm getting thicker skin, and so now I have made a rule for myself, because I do really like rules, of if I get a single negative comment on a video, on a short, on anything, I remove it. And I also, because it's a waste of my time, and I also will hold all comments for review so that I don't have to be stuck on my phone. So I did have an older short pop up, and there was an accusatory comment of Isabel was not wearing shoes in a store, which she was. She was totally wearing shoes in a store. And so before I saw it, because that was an older video, someone responded with, she's wearing sandals, because they use their observational skills, which is what everyone should be trying to do. Use your observational skills. If you can see and you can hear and you can speak, if you see and you hear something, then you should speak if it's not appropriate. But before you speak if it's not appropriate, you really need to make observations with your eyes and your ears. And so I'm very proud of the person that unfortunately I had to delete, because I deleted the original comment because I did not want to continue to deal with it, for them using their observational skills to say, no, this is not correct, this child is wearing sandals. It's just crazy. So now, I know, someone's gonna get mad. Crazy, don't throw that word around. Everybody has words that we can't throw around anymore. It is cuckoo. It is absurd. And so now that video is hold all comments for review. So that way I don't have to worry about the wave theory coming through and like all these other people being like, no, there's no shoes, let's debate whether or not they're wearing shoes, and blah, 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 and zoom in, and here's a blah, blah, blah. Is that really who we have become as a society, as a people? The people that want to pick every single little teeny tiny thing apart? Is it because we're so fanciful that we don't have to worry about where our next meal is coming from? Some of us don't have to worry about where our next meal is coming from. Some of us don't have to worry about housing. Some of us don't have to worry about a lot of things. And so because we become so bored, because we do not have to actually care about our existence that we're going through, we start micromanaging and picking apart other people's lives without even making some type of manual, or let's just say manual empathy or sympathy of that person's situation, and thinking about all the details that got them to the place that they're in. Because here's another thing, because this video is going to be like, I don't know, August, I think. You guys are at August, I don't know, 12th or something. Where when this video gets released in August, you guys will have long since seen my videos of me cooking in bathrooms. How many people are going to micromanage the fact that I was cooking in bathrooms because I didn't have a kitchen available? It's going to be absurd. Right now those videos are popping up as like the date and then like a timestamp, because I was kind of lazy because I had so many videos to upload, and I also was having issues with the memory cards. But once they actually get properly titled of how to cook in a hotel bathroom, how many people are going to think that I'm absurd? Because I didn't want my children and my father to live off of fast food while we were in a hotel. And then in that area, they didn't have, you know, a hotel that had whatever fanciful stuff to have a kitchen or a kitchenette. And I still wanted to provide healthy-ish food. How many people are going to micromanage the fact that I'm using butter instead of only using olive oil, or that I'm using things that are not completely organic, or, you know, whether I'm using GMO stuff or not using GMO stuff, instead of just thinking that fat is best, and that I'm using sterilization techniques, and that I actually have a ServSafe certificate that may or may not still be valid, and that I've done that coursework numerous times in the past. How many people, when those videos are properly titled, will come upon them and thrust their unsolicited opinions on the fact that I'm probably a terrible mother because I'm cooking in a bathroom instead of going to Wendy's? Or how many people are going to see videos of me going to Wendy's and say, oh, she's a terrible mother because her children live off of fast food? I feel like we should leave each other alone to a certain extent, where if someone is doing something that presents hazard to others, a genuine, bona fide hazard to themselves or others, then we need to raise concern. If someone is trying to live their life, if you're a vegan, and like I saw the vegan lady, there's some vegan lady was harassing this TikTok comedian person that's now on YouTube, and I'm not really good at pop culture, but I like her stuff. But she's branching out into like haunted houses and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, getting away from the point. So if you are a content creator and you are an omnivore, as many of us are, and then you are a vegan creator, and you're trying to build a platform because you want to convert everyone to veganism, you want everyone to be herbivores, why are you harassing the omnivore? Do you wish that the omnivore would turn into a complete carnivore? I mean, it's absurd. If I'm Catholic, I'm not going to try to make everyone around me turn into a Catholic. If I'm agnostic or an atheist or a pagan, I'm not going to try to make everyone around me become that. I mean, didn't we learn from the past with the Crusades? Haven't we done a lot of dumb stuff as a species? Did we not learn from our mistakes? Of like, maybe we should not force our opinions and our ideals on other people because like maybe they have varying variations, because like everyone is their own unique little person. If I'm pansexual, am I going to try to make everyone around me pansexual? No. If I'm heterosexual, am I going to get mad at every homosexual or pansexual or transsexual that I see and get all, you must be whatever I am? No. Do you know how boring life would be if everyone is exactly the same? I think there's a whole country that's kind of like trying to go for that, and I'm not the person that pays attention to all these things, but I mean, like, you know, the guy with the hair, and then like everybody else has to have the same hair as him and his wife, and if they don't, like, and they try to make everything idealistic based off of how he thinks that the society should be. And there was another guy that did a lot of bad stuff. And did we not learn from this whole trying to force everyone to share our ideals, and we're just becoming so toxic to everyone? And evidently, based off of the Xena Izzy video, it's not just a US thing, it's an everywhere thing, because that's just coming on India and Bangladesh, and I don't know. I can see where the stuff is cycling through and who I'm popular, or who that video is popular with at the time. So, get a break. Stop trying to force your stuff on other people. And stop trying to be grumpy with other people too. Because there was no actual harm to either person, either being, let's say that. The canine nor the child were in any type of danger in that specific situation. They were completely under adult supervision. They were completely fine. My daughter put herself in that situation because she was being a goofball. My dog was properly trained enough to understand that she didn't know what to do, so she just kind of stood there because she didn't know what her human sister was doing. Had a situation presented itself, I would have been able to react quickly and steadily to resolve that situation in a time-efficient manner. But no, you guys want to be mean to the dog, but you want to be mean to the little girl, or you want to be so twisted and weird that you think of nasty stuff. And for those of you that have comments that are still up on that video, or that your comments actually make it to that video, kudos to you for not being odd with your viewpoints, because there's a lot of people that do the laughy faces because they get what's going on in the video. It's a child being goofy with a dog. As people, let's say, not as a people, as people, we used to have children running around with the nanny dogs, or just the dogs, to protect them from the wildlife. And if we could entrust the dogs and our training that we did with the dogs to be the protectors of the children and actually have a job inside that household, because that's what they did. The whole reason we have these animals and the reason that they're domesticated is because they had jobs. People and animals are designed for functions and jobs, to coexist together and to work together for some type of thing. It's ridiculous. Every single thing on this planet has a job and a function. Whether it be good or bad, depends on the situation. I mean, we have cats that are domesticated because of bugs. They were pest control for rodents and insects. I mean, do you think that they came into the houses because they wanted to be snuggle-buggled? No. They thought, oh, if I'm nice to this human, and I make sure that all these little things that I want to prey on, because they're predators. We have predators in our homes. Yes, I know someone's going to take that in a different way. And yes, I know it exists. I'm very well aware that it exists, predators in homes. Our animals are predatory by nature. They are predators. They are not prey. Cats are predators for rodents and bugs and lizards and birds and a whole bunch of stuff. Basically anything that's smaller than them. And then if you get a feisty enough one, they will attack things that are bigger than them because they're predators. Dogs, it's the same thing. Dogs are predators. Xena got released in the wild and learned that a bunny tastes good. She's gonna hunt rabbits, and then she's gonna get some birds, and she's gonna anything smaller than her will become prey. But she likes her cushy existence in the house because she will bark and let people know, I am a predator. I'm in this house is protected by me and Gabby, because there's two of them. Woof woof goes Xena, woof woof goes Gabby. One for the backyard, one for the inside the house, even though Gabby does come inside and she's going to be very grumpy because it's going to be very cold soon. And the cats are like, hey, we're here, and if you're a rodent, we are going to chase you down and eat you, or at least kill you and present you as a present to her mommy or her daddy. So stop being so weird with your stuff. It's just, we're breeding abnormalities by altering things that just used to be common sense. And we're such a throwaway culture too, getting the T2, hopefully I will remember to call it the T2 because I keep in my mind calling it the Dark Trailblazer like it's the evil version of the Trailblazer. We're throwaway culture. You have the option of going and buying a brand new car, which you're going to be handing over your dollars for that. You're trading more and more of your time that is spent in dollars for newer and fancier things when you have things that work. And people immigrated in this country originally to have their own space in the great unknown, in the wild, and being able to have their own homestead and live off the land. And the country was founded because, taxes and overbearing things. And are we not kind of treading there as like a non-political person? I mean, I keep seeing social media stuff. As much as I try to stay away from it, that's also going on, where it's like, we get taxed for this, we get taxed for that, we get taxed for that. Doesn't that sound like a very similar situation that was going on, which led to, like, I don't know, a whole thing here, and then this becoming its own thing? And haven't other countries pretty much done the same thing because of the same stuff? I saw something that said that, the most popular holiday celebration for the whole, as a worldwide thing with a varying date, was the date of celebrating independence from the UK, British. It's not just the US of A that did that, it's other countries too. So it's a lot of not learning from historical information. And I'm not a historian by any means. I'm not a politician by any means. I'm just a common sense, and maybe sometimes you should close your mouth, put on your listening ears, and pay attention. So maybe the people that have been here longer than us, they know a little bit more than us because they have more years on us. And the flip of that can be said too, because if you are younger, you are very well equipped for technological advances and ease of application of new technology, and not being afraid of it because you grew up with it. It's second nature, is breathing for you. So you don't understand why someone can't remember their passwords, or you don't understand why someone can't download this and send it here and zip it up and do all this other stuff with it. And you get grumpy with the older people because they don't understand. Instead of saying, hey, I'll teach you a little bit if you teach me a little bit. Let's have an exchange of information, because that's conversationally what people used to do. And when we decided to get all the technology and the videos, which I'm making one right now, I would be able to relay this information to one person as either a form of entertainment, a form of socialization, in person, as an exchange of information most of the time, or an exchange in generalized terms, where I would speak and you would pay to listen. Or I would tell you how to work on your vehicle and you would tell me how to work on my house. Or you pay me to work on your vehicle, and that payment, that currency, is an exchange of your previous time and an exchange of your services, whatever they were, for that currency in the form of $1. But now that we have technology, we're kind of, it's good and it's bad. I don't know. And I saw this movie that, like, is part of my fear of the newer vehicles with all the little fancy bells and whistles and stuff. And like the Tesla cats, this is totally off topic, but I just had to share it with you guys, where like the autonomous vehicles that can self-drive, and they like all ran into this road and they were blocking the roadways and like all of that stuff, and it makes me nervous. And I found out whenever I was in Mississippi that the Trailblazer, like, if you plug her into a machine, but you have to actually plug her into a machine because she is cut off from the world, even though she is a throttle body, which is controlled by the computer in her vehicle, or inside of her. So she's not as cut off as like the 1980 CJ7 Jeep, where it's all mechanical stuff, and so there'd be no computerization. She doesn't have Bluetooth. She doesn't have any stuff that can disable, enable, do anything like that. And ironically, the Transformer doesn't either. By chance, I didn't know. Husband Cat was very annoyed that they couldn't auto unlock it. But that's the thing for me. It's like everyone wants to have all the fancy features and have people be able to remotely unlock and lock and make their vehicles do stuff. And I guess I'm just one of the special cats out here that kind of gets a little nervous about somebody else being able to make things that are useful to me, being my mode of transportation, to be able to get myself and my family from here to there and everywhere. I would prefer to be in complete control of that. And being the non-political person that I am, I really hope that there's some legislation out there on like what has to happen in order for someone to make your mode of transportation do things without your control. So this video has been all over the place, much like my day. I've been working on the 06, yesterday I was working on the 06 Trailblazer with husband Cat a fair amount. Had a few of the problems squared up, still need to order a couple different things to patch her back up again. But I hardcore messed up my shoulder. So, and then it was raining, so even though I was grumpy that it was raining, it was kind of a welcome break because I don't think my shoulder could have taken a second day of hard labor like that, because I am so out of practice. I need to go to the gym or something, even though I don't like going to the gym, and I say, why go to the gym if you can work out with your life? I'm out of practice. But I hope you guys have a great day. My random video. We really need to start talking to each other in real life, in person, because some of us have some dark and scary places that we go to. If we can watch a video of a dog and a little girl and go where they went, and if we can watch a video one time and trust our observational skills enough to say that a child that's in a store that has sandals on is not wearing shoes, and make that as a blatant statement. Because for me, unless it's an absolute known, I'm not going to speak on that. I'm not going to say I never. I try exceptionally hard to not speak on things that I don't have a ton of information without saying, I'm not sure, or blah, 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 blah. Because I don't know everything. And if there's someone that knows more information than I do, then I will defer to their knowledge as long as their knowledge can make sense to me in a logical way, and I can look it up with research and verify it and verify that they are the expert in their field. Then I will take that information as a quantifiable amount. But the thing that really drives me cuckoo is when people talk out of their butts. I say that all the time, because I don't like people that are so fanciful with the way that they speak and they fluff and they do all these things that they don't really understand the knowledge. They're just giving you little buzzwords here and there, and they're talking to try to act like they know what's going on, or to entertain you or distract you enough. And I also don't like it when people make people uncomfortable in a purposeful act to make it where they will not have that person challenge the words that they're speaking because of the vocabulary that they're using. So if I don't know what a word is and someone uses it and it bothers people, and I don't know why it bothers people. Because if someone's talking about something and I'm actually trying to absorb the information and they say something that either doesn't make sense logically or doesn't make sense because of the word that they used that I was not familiar with, then I will say, okay, pause. What does this word mean? Or could you repeat that you said, because I'm not tracking it? Because I feel like if you're actually in a conversation, an exchange of information, if you're giving me the information and I'm not properly absorbing that information, you should not be upset that I'm not picking at your information. I'm asking you additional information to understand and broaden my absorption of the material that you are trying to provide for me in the conversation. Because if I just sit there and I nod and you give me 1 through 100, but I'm not stopping at point 10 because 10 doesn't make sense, I'm going to be stuck on 10. And if I'm not, and I'm just trying to be polite, I'm just going to be nodding my head and not absorbing 10 through 100. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So don't be alarmed if I say, okay, stop for a second, because blah, 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 blah. Can you expound on that? Can you make it where I understand, so that way I can track you from 1 to 10 and then 10 to 100. Hopefully that makes sense. I know, I just randomly blab. At some point all these videos are going to just bite me in the butt. It's just me talking. And I'm monetized, so I mean, you know, I make a couple cents off of the view, so I mean, there's that. And you guys want to pick me apart? I didn't pick it apart a ton. Alright, at the 30-minute mark. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye!